Oh, yeah. We back again for the second part. Like I say, it's going to be different parts to this. But we're going to try to run at least one more tonight for you. Then we'll start running a couple tomorrow since we got the, we just get right up and start running them and, whenever we get up. Peace, family. If you're coming back into the building, that part 1 is already dropped. This is part 2. Right? What we're going to be talking about. Let me get that together. That still is not. Hey, Robot. That part 1 was hard, right? The Big Bang. We had to do that over because the last one they took down, so we had to cut down on the type of language we use. We're gonna be keeping this one clean as well, YouTube. No doubt. We got to we starting to learn the guidelines, and we pretty much covering and keeping the guidelines covered. We'll come back and fix that after. But we're gonna get into it, man. We're about to getting into the interesting part, man. This storyline is so good that I might do another part. I might do 3 parts tonight because I got a little sleep, and I can run one from right now to 9:30, then run another one. So yeah, this storyline is so good, and it's gonna open the people that read the Bible, the people that everybody that listen. It's gonna open up your brain. Your brain capacity is about to get ready to go to another level, and you're about to really get a grasp on what's happening here, man. I'm telling you. I know never have it been made clear like this. And people say they sleeping on the young ear, right? They sleeping on the young ear because they think the young ear just be making stuff up. Well, we showed you. And we're going to show you some more books in our library. But like I say, we read the whole Zechariah. We got the Zechariah Stitcher books. We got the Holy Tablets. We got books on our Nana. We got the Emerald Tablets. We got different books, and we making all the connections. We ain't just talking out the side of the head, man. I'm telling you, bro. So we're about to put this all together for you where it's going to be clear. It ain't no clear. It ain't going to get no clearer than this. So let me share that screen so we can get this cracking, man. We can get kicked off. Rob Bob, you coming to the building, hit that like, hit that subscribe button.
It's gonna get good as the saga continues. The Chronicles of the Anunnaki. Hey, the whole storyline. We got I'm telling you, when you hear this storyline, you're going to be like, wow, the Anunnakis was doing that before the humans. Wow, the Etruscans, the 200 fallen. I'm going to get mad. Look, yeah, niggas, hey, we're going to get your head cracked, man. We put it in. We put it in that work, bro. That's why they wonder what the young Ella was doing for the last couple of days. He was reading. He was putting together this slideshow for you. I don't know how this junk right here is popping up on the outside, but we're gonna have to get that out of there. All right, we left off right here. This is where we started it, right here. This is where we get popped. This is where we get this thing cracking, y'all. We're giving them a couple seconds. Get in the buildings. Let me get that chat pulled up. Oh yeah, y'all get the game. YouTube. We about to get it cracking now, y'all. The family journey, the full version. The full version of the family journey. We got the audio book part of it from the Ascension Manual. We about to drop this part on you. Peace, family. If you're in the building, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. You want to show us some love on the donations, we dropping the Cash App in the pen. We about to get ready to crack heads. All right, so we left off on the Big Bang part 1, where we explained how our time took place and how the dimensions came into reality and all that. So you're gonna get that part 2 if you ain't game in on that. Now, once all of these 19 galaxies because there was 19 galaxies. The way Bible put it in the holy tablets, and keep in mind, we're gonna have the holy tablets in the links, so you can read the holy tablets. Some of the stuff it's got tampered with, is off a little bit, but when you hear this story, then you read it, you'll be able to put it all together. The time frames, some of the time frames, well, I can't say it really is off. I'll say the time frames, the way they got it written, stuff happened after stuff happened, like it's in different orders of how stuff took place. So we're gonna put that because the guy was asking, hey man, I thought Inky got banned off of Earth. Yeah, he did, but he had to come back because the people didn't like Enlil, the people of Earth. We're gonna break all that down though. Okay. And we're gonna and you know, in the holy tablets, because people were saying, oh, Baba's they were saying that Inky's 7 foot. No, Baba actually says in the holy tablets, and we got the page number. We're gonna come all up in this slide, probably like probably part 3, where he was 6 foot tall. Baba said Inky was 6 foot tall, and that's why Abu Bakr and the dude Hernando Cortez, they were these Aztecs mistaking the return them as the return of Inky and started turning over the gold to him. We're gonna get into that too. You know what I'm saying? So Inky was 6 foot. So how tall? So and then people still I produced the real picture of Inky, and I told you who he was. And some people know it to be true. Some people just they don't want to accept it. That's Inky. The dude I showed you, the dude called Yahweh, King Yahweh, is Inky. He's the return of Inky. He's the avatar for Inky right now. And he's doing all the stuff that Inky's supposed to be doing right now. Y'all just don't know it. We're gonna break all of it down. Having babies just like he was doing. Inky, well, I ain't gonna spoil the story. I get into that part once I get to that part about the Daffo story and the Noah story. Those women had husbands, had human husbands, and Inky came in and impregnated them, and they said, "Oh, I got a baby by God," that type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And then the dude come back like, "Who pregnant?" Yeah, the same Jesus story. That really, them type of stories was really happening with the Anunnakis and humans. We're about to break that down. Okay. So as everything, the 19 planets began to hurl off and cool off and create this reality, one of the galaxies was called Ditra. And this is where we landed first. You're talking about billions of years transpired from the bang, boom. We wandering around waiting till everything cool off and everything starting to expand from the explosion. Then we come back in and land in Ditra. Keep in mind, Ditra in diameter, Ditra is about 6.1 million light years in diameter. So your galaxy is 150,000 light years in diameter. Right? Light years rounded up to 6 trillion miles. 6 trillion miles for 1 light year. So your galaxy is 150,000 light years. Some say 100,000, but it's in between. Some say 130,000. So they say in between 100 and then 150,000 light years. Right? And that's 150,000. I'll just make it easier. It's 100,000 times 6 trillion, give you the mileage of your galaxy. But this galaxy is 6.1 million light years in diameter. So if you do that 6.1 million years times 6 trillion, you get the diameter of this galaxy, which is probably like maybe like 20 times bigger than your galaxy, the Milky Way. Okay. At this time, Anshar ruled the main ship. It was several different ships in Nimbare. They were fleets of ships that we left on. Let me show you. They show you the prototypes or the beginning stages of the maneuver rules in Star Trek or Star Wars. One of them, I think it's either Star Trek. I think it's maybe Star Trek. Where they show you, they call it the Death Star. We in the Bible they refer to it as wormwood. right? Nubaru. But this before it was called Nubarus, before they became Nubarus, they looked like this. And they just were plain without all the extra technology. And they ran off of hydrogen, a certain type of energy then. This right here was the old versions of it. So we left in these, and then we landed in Detra, right? All right. Anshaw was the most high. He was the fourth most high at the time, the fourth most high. Before him, his father, Shah, was. Before Sal, his father name was An. And before An, it was his father name was Key. And that's the father we trace it back to the first chief, the first chief or the first most high of the family, the family of the arm or the planet of the arm. It goes all the way back. So Anshaw was the fourth most high. So we thought he was the eighth most high before Anu, but it was in between Anshaw and Anu, there were other most highs who made it, because Anu had another older brother. He had an older brother named Anshaw. That was his brother. That was a firstborn, the firstborn son. Then he had another son. Anshaw had another son, which became his visor. I think his name it was Kyle. I think that's his name. Well, I'll see it once we get to his other picture with his name at the bottom. I think it was Kyle. He was Anu's son. He's Anu's older brother, and he became a visor to Anshaw before they came to Saturn. We'll get down to that part later. But he was a visor to Anshaw because it's like this. When you become the most high, it's like being a president or chief or leader of your family, of a government structure of a whole bunch of families that came together to be one family. And he was like the president. And then he got a visor, which the president got a visor. Just like in the mafia, you got the mob boss, then he got a concierge. So he's like he's like the concierge to Anshaw, his son, is one of his oldest sons. Right, but then he wasn't his oldest son. He had another son that was older than him, named Anshaw, and he's like the second or third oldest son, which became his advisor. Okay, so they got visors. They got a whole cabinet. These beings got a whole cabinet, just like your president got the whole cabinet, like the Secretary of State. They got the Secretary of the Defense. The Vice President. So it'll be like a most high, then it'll be a mid high, and then under him be the Secretary President, Secretary of Defense, and then he'll be like the most low. So he was like the advisor to the president, who was Anshaw, who is Anu's father, and this when they was they came to Detra. He made him his right hand man. Okay. He also birthed a daughter named Mother Huber. Who became his chief scientist in creation and discovery, right? And she had several other, and they were also considered as like nurses. Well, really, Mother Ninti was the first nurse, but Mother Huber was born before Mother Ninti, and she was a scientist, and they dressed like nurses, and they nursed different creations that they were making. So if you look at the Nation of Islam, they dress just like this lady, just like Mother Huber and Mother Ninti, all the scientists. They just like really they nurses and scientists. The women was always the Nubian women are the sisters going all the way back to the beginning. Were always the best scientists right now to this very day. The Nubian sisters are the best scientists. The women, they are the best because they are nurturers. Women have a nurturing spirit to bring creation into form, to bring creation, to bring it up, to mother it. It's the mother side of the universe energy. But that's one of his daughters' name was Mother Huber, who became his chief scientist, because all of them got chief scientists that these most highs. And this is his wife, Keisha. who was the mother of Mother Hubert. Anu wasn't born yet. Anu really wasn't he was an heir of the throne, but he wasn't the Most High chair was given to his other brother at first. His other brother Anshar became the sixth Most High, and then his son became the Most High. That was make the seventh Most High. And then his son didn't have an heir. His son's name was Daru. He didn't have an heir, but they did find a son. His wife found a son by the gate of the kingdom, and she took that son in, the same story as Moses, and raised that son. That son became known as Lamu. We thought that Lamu was Anu's brother because of them being almost around the same age. We thought they were brothers, but it's really like his great nephew, like his great adopted nephew. Anu had another brother named Alelu, right? He was his half brother from another concubine by his father Anshar, right? Alelu was his brother, and this was the brother that kept on going after them. They always had a battle. We're gonna get into the battles and things they were having, right? Alelu, keep him in mind. Alelu and Anu. These two brothers. The beef go all the way back to these two brothers first, before Enki and Enlil. Before Enki and Enlil, the beef go back to these two brothers. Right? All right. When they was in Dietra, the first extraterrestrial race to be created by Mother Hubert was the plant beings from a single cell amoeba that was already existent in the Dietra's galaxy once they got there, because all these mitochondria and single cell microcosmics expand. They went all the way through the universe, and some of them was already in galaxies before the Anunnakis even came, and some of them over time, millions and millions of years, it evolved into different types of beings, depending on what galaxy they was in, what type of sun they was under, what type of climates they planet generated. It generated different type of species from these single cell amoebias. We'll get into that part too. But the first race that Mother Hubert engineered was the plant race, these plant beings, and they were really generating them for food, because now they now they got shot to the other side of the dimension and started to slow their vibration down and became physical. They in the fifth dimension, they needed a food source. They didn't need a food source before the Big Bang. When the Big Bang happened, they had to create a food source. So Mother Hubert, to make a long story short, engineered a certain type of being they yield fruits and vegetables and different kinds of way before the one types of vegetables you got on this planet that comes later. And they were eating these beans at first, right? What these beans produce, they're babies. But they made a deal with these beans to only eat 20% of their producing. These beans, and these beans ate sunlight. Right, we'll get into you can go back and get our plant. We got a whole tape on these beans because we got the book out called the Book of Extraterrestrial, where we break down these beans in the Book of Extraterrestrial, right? And we got, like I said, you can get all 8 books by the young elder for we actually gonna turn this into a book, this whole series. It's really already done, really, because I've been doing it for the last 2 weeks, just putting it together. So it's like already a book. All we gotta do is take the recording off of this, turn it into a book. We got somebody working on that. They're gonna try to have to redo the pictures and all that, but we'll get that straight. Yeah, but okay, so that's that first species. And like I say, later on they come to live in Vegas, but this was before they were the oldest race. The plant race is one of the oldest races after the Anunnakis, and we wouldn't even call Anunnakis at this time, because we wouldn't call Anunnakis until we came to Earth or Ki. But we would call the ancients is one name they used for us. We would call we didn't have no name. We go back before names and all that existed. So, you know what I'm saying, we wouldn't call Anunnakis. I'm gonna get to that point, right? Yeah, but they ended up laying out and got placed in the Vega. after the Vega got created by the Anunnakis, okay? But that's later on down the line. It's billions, I'm talking about maybe 200 billion years later. These beings go back 300-400 billion years, maybe even longer, maybe like a couple trillions of years. The plant race go back trillions of years, maybe even, I say maybe like 60 trillion years or more. The plant race go back about 60 trillion years in the galaxy. I'm telling you, these people are old, man. Okay. So like I said, I got a tape on the plant race already. If you scroll, it's gonna be, you have to scroll way down because we put that tape out a long time ago. All right, and this is what they look like. Several different species. So they were the first one, some of the first ones after the families. And these beings were from when these beings were the same, the spirit being was from the same species though, as from the same type of energy as the Anunnaki. So they really were the same type of beings. They just had different types of avatars or bodies. And this right here is before they learn how to make avatars. They learn how to make avatars. We're gonna break that down too. Okay, these are, so there's different species of them. They evolved over time. Some of these types evolved on their own without being touched on other galaxies, or from a single cell amoeba, just develop on planets through evolution, right? And this is just a shot with all the stars in it, like off the planet they was living on. All right, we already broke that down. A light year is 1.8 trillion miles. We just rounded it off 9.4 trillion kilometers. We rounded it off to 6 trillion miles. For one, it's light. Excuse me. A light year is the distance that light travels in a year. The distance light travels in a year. It's a light year. Okay, we already, all my people that have been with us, they already up to speed on that. Okay, like we said, this is your galaxy right here, right? And you see they got it as 100,000 light years in diameter. Then you got a center, a nucleus, just like an atom, just like we showed you got a center sun, which they call the black sun or the dark sun. We got a center sun, which is the nucleus, just like a atom or a cell. And this right here would be the membrane that's going around the outside. You know what I'm saying? So, and this right here to be like the protons and neutrons. The stars will be the protons and neutrons, the protons and electrons going around this nucleus. So they said they got it as 100,000 light years in diameter, but it's really about 150 right now because they got to keep in mind this is old, and that galaxy is steady expanding. Plus, the Andromeda's galaxy is about to join on with us, and the Andromeda's galaxy is about 4 million light years in diameter compared to our galaxy. So is the Andromeda's is about 8 times bigger than our galaxy, and it's about to join on with our galaxy. So we add an extra 100,000 to the galaxy, making it about 4.1 million miles in diameter. And then if you was to leave, Andromeda's is the closest galaxy to us. And if you was to fly to get to an Andromeda's galaxy, if you was the closest galaxy to us is the Andromeda's galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years from Earth, from our galaxy. Well, really from our galaxy. So it's 2.5 million light years. So just think about it. If you're driving in your car 70 miles an hour, how long would it take you to make to Andromeda's? And 1 light year, keep in mind, 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. So how long would it take you to drive to the Andromeda's? You would never make it. Hey, you would die 1,000,000 times over before you make it. Hey, you'll die 1,000,000 times over before you make it there. Driving at 70 miles an hour, right? So, right, and keep in mind, we doing that. How we do the light thing is measure the speed of light. We calculate this distance the light particles traveling, the light waves, calculated the light waves hitting a certain object, and we time that. So Earth, for the sunlight to hit Earth, it takes about 8 minutes and 30 seconds. I think that is. It's like 23 seconds or something like that, I think, really. Light minutes from Earth. So it takes about 8 minutes and some change for light to hit Earth. So that's how we timing the light, and that can be different depending on the different distance of your planet from your sun, how far it is, because on Earth they say 365 days is 1 year, but on other planets it get much broader. Right. Okay. All right. So let me just break this down. We'll break that down too. All right. So for light to travel from the moon, well, really the moon has no light of its own. It actually gets its light from the sun. But the moon is like glass on the moon due to an explosion. Right. So it got that reflection on it. But the 1.3 seconds, the light bounces off the moon, right? Then 8 minutes, it goes from the sun to the Earth, right? And then if you was at the Alpha Centaurian star system, where some of these Agigis, the 200 fallen come from, the Alpha Draconis, the Alpha Centauri star system, the light takes 4.4 light years to hit Earth. And then so on with other constellations and other things they measure, going all the way up into the Andromeda's galaxy, which is 2.5 million light years away, because they measured the time the light come to the Earth, right? So that's how we're doing this this light measuring. Let me show you something. I got to show you something else. I want to show you the timing on the planets. I must have got that in another. Hold on, let me see if I got it right here. All right, well, maybe because like if you like on Mars, it's got like 400 and some days for 1 day. Then you go to Jupiter. Jupiter got like 700 some days for 1 day. Earth days for 1 day. I mean, not for 1 day, for 1 year. Mars got like 480 some days for 1 year. And then they those outside planets are rotating faster, like 10 hours for 1 day, because their vibration is sped up faster than Earth. Earth got slowed down when the crash happened. Tiamat is what they called it then. All right, so a fight broke out, argument broke out in the Dietrich galaxy, where the family split. We already broke that down. Where Ansar went east, and his brother went west, and the other brother stayed in Dietrich galaxy with his people, and they began to populate that galaxy. Ansar chose to go east, where he first landed in a galaxy called the Ida galaxy. This is the Ida galaxy, is what it looked like. Right? This is a big galaxy too. Ida galaxy is about 2 times bigger than the Andromeda's galaxy. When they got there, another family that came from the explosion, one of the families. Oh yeah, they got there. They set up these stations, right? And they started carrying these space station platforms to anchor these big Nimbus arrays, and start having like creating like space stations where they can, because they started expanding, and they lived on these planets with these things surrounding them like this, and they actually started use these platforms to create new ones when they start expanding. New one of these Nimbus arrays use these platforms. They show you these in Star Wars or Stargate, one of them, Star Trek, I think it was. But this is what we had. But we landed when we landed in the Andromeda's galaxy, this was billions. Not the Andromeda's galaxy, the Ida galaxy. This is billions and billions and billions of years that passed, and the single cell nebulae was already in this galaxy, and they had already all the single cell nebula and the 9 ether gas, 9 ether beings that came from that Big Bang was already in this galaxy as a part of the galaxy, because they come down from the light frequencies and the sound frequencies of the Big Bang from the same family. Just like those grass people or those plant people will use the same 9 ether spirit gas was used to create them. They all living beings and living organisms. So it was already single cell amoebas and microorganisms that had evolved over billions of years in this galaxy. And they developed bodies, physical bodies, because they was also slowing down in vibration like we were. And they became known as the Asgards. This is what they looked like at first. They show you these beings in the Stargate movie. And they show you these beings in the Stargate movie, the Asgards. And at the time, they were just about on the same level as the Anunnakis in technology, if not ahead of them. If not ahead of the Anunnakis. And they actually shared information while they was staying in the same galaxy together. But these beings, these Asgards, this is how they looked at first. They looked at like they got these humanoid, like blue skin bodies with the big old heads. And they were some of them greenish color and bluish color, right? Skin. What they and the originals had like an orb in the middle of their forehead, like a stone, some kind of stone in the middle of their forehead. You can see, almost see the imprint of the stone that's imprinted under their skin in their forehead. And that's how they stored they light their essence on that crystal, and they use these avatars. All right, so they was already developing when we got to their galaxy, right? They were trying to develop technology to be able to ascend back to the gas state. And while they was doing it, they defected the avatars that they developed when they vibration slowed down to the fifth dimension, started getting more solid state. They a lot of us came down and slowed our vibration down, and we took physical form based on the galaxies that we was in. So this is a form that they took as they slowed down in the vibration and frequency and became to the other side of the mirror, right, to the fifth dimension. They end up doing the experiments where they defected their body types, and their race was dying out. So we came when the Nembare people came from Anshar and them people. They started helping these people develop, try to help these people develop and fix the problem. They never did get a chance to fix the problem to bring these beings back. So what they did is they started learning, they developed and started doing cloning. These Anunnakis developed technology to be able to clone and make avatars in this galaxy. This is billions and billions and billions, if not trillions of years ago, right? Depending on the time frame, because we're dealing with the light years and all that. It can get real tricky when you're dealing with time frames, right? You're talking about a box, it'll crack your brain, it'll make your brain explode. Pineal gland, yeah, that's what dealing with their crystal, right? Horizon diamond with their crystal that they had it stored up under their forehead. All right, so with eventually they started losing their physical vessels, but the Anunnakis helped them develop, start pulling DNA from these old vessels, and they started developing avatars. And what they came out with is look like this. Okay, this is what their cities look like. They was advanced already. They had cities set up on their planet. They had advanced ships. All that. They had water. They lived on water type planets in the Ida Galaxy. Actually, I'm gonna show you that on the space station program. I'm probably gonna fly you to the Ida Galaxy and show you what it looked like on the program. They talk about these people in that Stargate movie, right? Because people come out, oh, he got that from the Stargate, but you got to keep in mind, where does the Stargate get it from? They just made stuff up. People that without melanin cannot just make stuff up. Nobody here on this third dimension can make anything up. All you can do is draw it down. Here, draw it down on a piece of paper. Write it down. And you study saying down from where? Down from the fourth dimension, the mental plane, the mental reservoir. The Nubians have the fuel source to get up there. That's melatonin. Right, we'll get to that later. But they got it from us. Know that. They got it from us. They got the looking glass. They know we was gonna put this out so they can, so you won't know what's going down. So you can say, oh, he got that from a movie. So you can be still in a third, it's Enlil's game to keep you down 10%, so you can still be meatloaf and bologna sandwiches when the time comes for the pickings. Or be slaves and pick and dig in the mines and pick gold. Right? Because some of you, and don't feel bad, because some of you are made to do that. Some of you are Lulu and Malus that's listening. some of you are children of the Anunnaki hybrids, and some of you are real Anunnakis, because not all the Anunnakis were 7 foot tall. Because it was different species kind of in that Anunnaki. It was different. Not all the Igigis were short. It was tall, 10-foot Igigis. And that's the ones that caused the jump. We're going to get into them too. We'll get into them too, though. Right? That's the ones that started the crap. The Etruscans, the Centaurians. In one particular species of Centaurians called the Etruscans, who were 10-foot dudes. We'll get into that. They were Hindus. They were Nagas who evolved to humanoid looking when they got to Procon. All right, so this is another picture of what it looked like on a planet. They had buildings like this. Right, it's another, and they had you can see the planets in the background, skies. They were advanced civilization, maybe about 1 million years ahead of what, no, I can't say 1 million. They're probably like about 500,000 years ahead of Earth in technology, because these people, they have figured out how to extract the nucleus from an atom and use it as fuel. They use the nucleus from an atom as their fuel source. And they ships can fly thousands. They ship can fly from the Andromedans. Really, they can leave their galaxy. Their galaxies are maybe about 20-some million light years away. They can be here in about a couple days. They can leave their galaxy, which is about 20-some million light years away, and they can be here in a couple days in the Milky Way galaxy. So I tell you what kind of type of technology they got. And they didn't share everything with the Anunnakis. These people didn't trust the Anunnakis neither. They didn't trust Anshaw and them. They only shared a little bit with them because they helped them develop new types of cloning. They didn't know how to do the cloning. So they eventually developed these. So they started doing these. The Anunnaki showed them how to pull DNA off of these original beings, and they started creating these clone shells to go incarnate into. Right? That's what they look like, the new shells, the first ones. They had different types. This is the first type they had, the gray looking types. Right? This right here before the grays was even created, maybe trillions of billions of years before the Ramadians and the marker beings was even created. Right? All right, so then after that, they developed these type of avatars that were 7 foot tall, gray looking avatars, but these are the Asgards who got the bump on their head. See, they're different from the other grays, right? These are not really grays. These are 7 foot, and we actually used their DNA to make the grays when we got here because we kept their DNA on record, these avatar DNA on record, from helping them out to get them avatars to live in. So the first ones they had was 7 foot tall, big head beings like this, right? And then the next ones they had, this is like on board one of they space stations that hover around a planet. This is inside. They show you that in the movie. All right, so they developed the cloning in tubes, being able to clone in tubes. This was billions of years before humans was even created. This later on technology is used to create humans and genetically engineer humans, but this is billions of years before the humans on Earth was created. And like I say, some of y'all not humans, some of y'all are Anunnakis. Some of y'all are half Anunnaki, half humans. Right? Some of y'all are Anunnaki and another species mixed, because like me, another Anunnaki and another species, Watusis, mixed. Like, you know what I'm saying? We're gonna get down to that part too, though. Because Watusis were extraterrestrials too, they came down from Nibiru. Right? And the Anunnakis were marrying them and having kids with them. It's taking people wives. But they learned how to develop these shells and these tubes, test tube babies. Right? Here's another picture of them developing different people being these clones or development in these different tubes. The Anunnaki start doing it first. They call these people the ancients, the ancient ones, right? So they was already cloning. Okay, here's another picture of the babies being cloned in the tubes, right? So this right here, billions of years. They also developed, figured out, helping these Asgards out that they can download the consciousness, the mind and the memory of a being onto a chip, a computer chip, crystal. Right, that's what I said. And they started putting this crystal in their head, and I told you about that, right? So and so they can. It's like it was like the first stage of transferring your essence into avatar, right? So they developed where they can transfer download your brain onto a chip, and they can do, the government can do this right now. Well, that's how they do actually do. They make clones of people and download their memory onto a clone, right? The Anunnaki's been doing it billions, maybe even trillions of years ago, right? So they developed that technology while they was in the Ida Galaxy. So once they developed that technology, they set up the Asgard set up a whole factory to start manufacturing them avatars, so they can start developing for their people, and they use them and go into these bodies on their galaxy, right? Here's another picture of them engineering the babies and the avatars, and they showed this on Avatar, right? Also, I forgot to tell you, I went and watched a new Avatar too, and I'm gonna do a synopsis on that too, right? Okay, so you remember Avatar, where they took DNA from the natives, or Navi, which is short for natives, and engineered a clone. And then they used a machine to lay in to transfer their consciousness to one body to the next. Well, the Anunnakis developed that technology billions of years ago in the Ida Galaxy when they was helping these Asgards out. They also learned that once they get into the avatar, they actually can mix with the natives and produce kids. They showed you that on a new Avatar movie, where Jake, I think his name, he got stuck in his body, and he ended up staying and live on Pandora, which is really Naboo. These beings actually are real beings. They're 10 foot tall. They are mixed with these Centaurians and these cat beings. I'm gonna show you these 200. They about coming to 200 fallen. These Centaurians. I'm gonna show them to you. They was living on Mars. Right, I'm a finger. They're the same dudes Rod Hayes talking about that's running the planet in Lil C. About to break it down. They was running the planet until we got on them. But they also found out that these avatars can mate with the natives once they got the bodies. And so some kids were born with the avatars, right? Like on the new Avatar movie, right? They show you that in the new Avatar movie. This is a machine that they developed at one point, before they developed the download the memory on the chip. They lay in this machine, and then they can use the avatar, or they can stir their consciousness into a computer and then download it to the avatar. This was this machine. They been had this machine. Michael Jackson had one of these in his house. Michael Jackson knew a lot. Michael Jackson had one of these in his house. And he had several different bodies that he could use and get in and drive using that machine. We showed that on the Michael Jackson Conspiracy Revealed. They lied and say it was some kind of sleep machine, but we already on to the game. The billionaires got one of these in their house, like the people that's part of the Billionaires Boys Club. Go back and get the tape called the Billionaires Boys Club. The people that got the part of that Billionaires Boys Club, they drive what they call surrogates. They put a movie out about it with Bruce Willis. Right? They drive these androids, where they drive these androids via these computer. And so they don't got to wreck their real body. Right? Here's another one. Here's the one on the new one where they generated, they took the dude, the general that got killed on Naboo. They took some of his genetics and mixed it with the avatar, the Naboo genetics, and They downloaded his consciousness. They stored his consciousness on a chip and downloaded to his avatar, to his clone, and made a clone of the general and brought him back to life, so to say. But the Anunnaki's been doing it, right? Back in the outer galaxy when they was helping the Asgards out. Like I say, this is they can download your brain to a chip. They already got that going on. They're trying to do the in-live ultimate goal is to turn you into slaves, AI robotic slaves, and have you being policed by robots. If you agree to it, only if you agree to it though. But he got niggas even try to get niggas to agree to that. He got people to agree to that, right? The bots. Okay. So they understand that the brain technology, and they doing that right now. They collecting data on you right now. The supercomputer is collecting data on you through your Facebook, Instagram, through the video games you play online, through your text messages, to your credit card, what you buy. They already taking a synopsis of who you are, and they storing it in their computer so they can create clones and robots that can know how you think, so they know how to deal with you. This is the game. Mother Sophia Stewart already pointed out in her third eye book. One of my master teachers, Mother Sophia Stewart, that breaks it all down. All right, so did I break down this right here? Supposed to come. Hold on, let's see where we at. Okay. Okay, we skipped one. This supposed to be coming up next right here. All right, but it's okay. When we after so long in the outer galaxy and developing cloning and all that, right? We end up, because it became the outer galaxy was already populated with different beings who had, like I say, evoluted over billions of years, just like us, from the microcosmics. We evoluted from the microcosmics. Like I told everybody in the part one, when the man shoots off into a woman, it's 7 million. We just rounded out to 8 million. It's 8 million beings, close to almost 8 million beings in that one shot that goes into and all of them racing from the microcosmic to try to come from this, just like it happened with the Big Bang. When a man releases into a woman, that's the same. It's the same Big Bang scenario playing out. Well, all these millions of beings come from the microcosmic, rushing to get into this side of the mirror. They rush into the woman's oval egg. One or two of them one usually get in there because the woman body is automatically designed to kill off these beings and stop them from getting into this dimension, crossing to this side of the mirror. The woman controls the gateway to this side of the mirror. Like 15 been telling y'all for so long. So she can decide whether to let you on this side or not, or keep you on the microcosmic side. So seven, you got to keep in mind, it's over 8 million beings racing to try to come to this side in one shot, on one shot, one kill. You know what I'm saying? And only one, maybe, sometimes two. We heard up to 8 making it at one time. Even in the animal kingdom, sometimes a lot of them make it. In the animal kingdom, a lot of them make it from the microcosmic to this dimension. Because they come from the microcosmic as well. When their father releases it to their mother. It's a chain reaction. Just like we told you on the first, the Big Bang part. It's a chain reaction where one event stimulates the next. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. Hey, yeah, it sound about right. Yeah, hey, sound right reasoning, baby. You already know what school we coming from. All right, so let's get back. Okay, we're the Pegasus. So the Andromeda's galaxy was being overpopulated already by beings who've been developing just like us from the microcosm, and they took their form and they shape as they began to cool off, as the bang began to cool off. Once the farther out, the cooler it began. The farther the particles hurled out into the universe, the more they begin to cool off and become slowed down and take physical form. Okay, man, we sent here to teach y'all this, man. It was only for a certain amount of people, so your DNA can be activated. The children of the Anunnaki DNA can be activated. It's called remembering. Read means to do again. Remember means to become part of an organization, a group again. This was happening right now. You see? So we end up leaving, it become overpopulated. We left there. We end up going to the Pegasus galaxy. That's the next galaxy we landed at. Once we got to the Pegasus galaxy, it was already mitochondrial and it was already microbiology. I mean, microorganisms and different types of small things that were evolving over billions of years there, right? So it was already certain types of creatures there. So when we landed there over a period of time, we stayed in the Pegasus galaxy for a long time because it wasn't as populated. It was just developing. It was a newer galaxy because it was just developing. So it was a younger galaxy than the Ida galaxy. So the beings, they were still in kind of like a development mode, like an evolutionary mode. But Mother Huber and them stepped in and upgraded them. This is the first step in and upgrade right here, just like they did in the Ida galaxy. Let's blow that up. Mother Huber stepped in to amuse her father in a competition they had between scientists. We already pointed this out, and created a new species from a microorganisms that was already in this galaxy. She generated the insect species. They were the second species born after created after the grass, the plant race in the Pegasus galaxy, from a single cell amoebias. Now, the first insect that she created was a dragonfly. Right? This is the oldest insect in the galaxy right here. But it comes from an upgrade and evolutionary species that Mother Huber engineered in the Pegasus. And really, this why later on she created the dragons, these reptilian dragons. But this was her first dragon type creature that she created, the dragonfly, from, like I say, from single cell amoebias. As time go on, several species were engineered from this species, and certain other species, the DNA of cell, that mitochondrial was placed on certain other new planets and made to placed to there to like a seed to grow and evolve. Because these Anunnakis, they like creating the seed of a thing and then they plant it and leave it and let it grow and let it evolve over billions and billions of years and become its own type of thing. Sometimes they will come back and check on things and see how it's going. Or they will place, they had a satellites then, they didn't develop the satellites then, but later on, Inky them developed satellites to be able to monitor the creations of what they were making. We're gonna get down to that part later, because Enlil the dirty joker, right? So it's right here that from that, and you got, if you study, because our planet is a data bank for the DNA of this, pretty much all the species that they created, and all the species is spread out through the Milky Way galaxy. Most of all the species, they DNA is out here on Earth. That's why it's over 900,000 different species of insects on Earth, right? So they can come pull DNA anytime they want to make and reprint it. We say if something get destroyed, they can come and pull the DNA from Earth and take it back to that planet and regenerate that planet. That's what it was all about. And they did that to Project Blue Rock was set up because of the war to preserve the life form. Earth is like Noah's Ark. Oh, Earth is really like Noah's Ark. They got all the species to survive the whole galaxy, saved in one data bank. So Earth is being heavily protected right now. We'll get down into that later. Earth came, They want to invade Earth. So a whole bunch of species want to invade Earth because this is a data bank, and they want to. This is a natural wealthy planet because of the different species, because of all the mineral wealth just here. Okay, we almost an hour out. Let me see how many more. We're dealing with the family journey here. Okay. Also, when the insects start populating too much, the insects start overpopulating the galaxy, the Pegasus galaxy, because insects multiply fast. They lay several eggs. So they start populating fast. So they had to come up with something to countermeasure the insects to keep them under control. So they took from species that was already in the Pegasus galaxy, they took DNA that was evolved from what they had created. They took and sped that up and mixed it with the insect DNA and created a new type of creature that had wings now and feathers. And they were called the bird beings, the blue avians and canarians. Right. And keep in mind the beak come from the insects. Look, the insects got beaks. Look at this insect right here. He got a beak. See? Insects with beaks. Go check that out. So they use DNA from these flying insect creatures. The first type they had prototypes didn't have wings. The blue avians don't got wings. They higher dimensional beings. They really, but the Canarians, other race, they got wings and these beaks. See the insects with beaks? Man, we about to get ready to crack heads and twist caps. We just not getting started on this series, man. Like I said, it's gonna probably be like 10 tapes to this joint, each being an hour long. We're gonna make them an hour long. All right, so that's the first. They start creating these bird race to control these insect race. And like I say, okay, let me show you right here. Look at this right here. This actually is Pt.2, who is Enlil's son, who got an eagle's helmet on. They wore these space helmets to where they could breathe out of space, and they designed them, like we told y'all, them were really helmets. Zechariah Stitchen said they could refer to them as the eagle's helmet. So they, when they would go to outer space to a place they couldn't breathe on, they would put these just like you put a space helmet on. They had put these helmets on so they can breathe the oxygen or whatever they was breathing. They would actually breathe hydrogen, and they actually this mask would actually filter the hydrogen out of the air so they can breathe it. So this is a mask that Pt.2 wore when they first came down, before they made made the avatars and stuff. Hold up. All right, so there's different types of these bird beings, the Canarians. They look different. This one right here got 4 eyes. So it was different species that came out of there. Just look up how many different species of birds and different colors and different types. It's the same type with these extraterrestrial birds who were designed by several scientists was in the lab, but she was the head scientist, Mother Huber, on this creation. And these, keep in mind, all the species I'm showing you, they end up becoming part of the Anunnakis and some of them actually stayed on Nibiru. All these species, as the time go on, these species lived on Nibiru, right? Some of the bad ones became part of the Igigis. We'll get into that, the 200 Fallens, the 1/3 of angels who chose to join on with Hali and his crew, the devil. Right? These demons, or what the Christians call demons, they were from different types of species of extraterrestrial who chose to fight against the Anunnakis, and they got cast down. We're gonna show you these. So, but they look like some of the species look like this being the Igigis, right? But they weren't the head of Igigis. The head of Igigis look human, and they had like this. I'm gonna show you all them beings too. But it was different types of these bird beings. Go back and we talked about these beings in the book of Extraterrestrial, right? If you ain't got the books, like I said, we got 8 books out. The book of Extraterrestrial is real thick, and I'm actually working on volume 2 right now. The book of Extraterrestrial volume 1 is real thick, and talks about all these different races of extraterrestrial in there. We got that book for $20 donation, but you can get all 8 books for $45 donation to the Cash App or PayPal. Be sure to leave your emails in the links, and we'll send a PDF form to your email. and then you can go get them printed out at whatever store. Now we in the process also of getting those books redone so we can put them on Amazon, like Billy Carson and the brother Dan Calloway and all the other many other brothers that are putting their information out online. Okay, so there's different species of these beings, and it's different types. Just like you got different types of birds down here, they got different types of these beings. How they look, right? They look different looks, but they way more intelligent. And some of them are more intelligent than humans, right? They're using more than their brain capacity, and some of them are much larger than the birds. They can get up to 10 foot tall, some of them, and be big, way more than like up to in between a half a ton to a ton, depending on how big they is. Okay. Like you got, okay. Now, the time speed up. We up to the 8th most high now. Like I said, after Anshaw passed the throne down to his older son. His name was Esau. Then he passed it down to his son. His name was Daru. Daru didn't have no son, no heir, because they passed it down from son to son, from the firstborn. So every time that son would have a firstborn son, that son would become the next one. Then he had a son, that son would become the next one. So Anu really got skipped over. Anu really got skipped over until the 9th Anu. Okay, so I'm gonna tell you what happened. Okay, so we was under the impression that Lamu was Anu's brother and Alelu's brother, that there was 3 brothers, but Lamu is not Anu's brother. He like his adopted great nephew, because what happens is Anu's older brother had a son. He became Anu's older brother became the 5th most high, or the 6th most high, after Anshaw, their father, and then his visor became the same visor as Anshaw, and then his son became the next most high, would be the 7th most high, Daru, and then he didn't have no son, so his wife ended up finding a son, like the same story of Moses, found the son at the gate, a baby, and they brought him in and raised him like it was their own, and that son was Lamu. So he was the grandson, the great adopted grandson of Anshaw. And he became the 8th most high because they thought that he was from the bloodline, that he really was a real son of Daru, who was from the same bloodline from Anshaw, from Anu. So he became the 8th most high. During this time, they Anu and Alelu stepped up to challenge for the seat, right? Because they had rightful heir to the challenge. So the challenge was they had to find a new galaxy, because that galaxy was overpopulated and they wanted to move. They've been there billions of years. Keep in mind, billions of years that went by. Maybe 100 billion years went by in this time frame. They wanted to make, and we'll get ready. Let me see how many more slides I got after this. Hold up. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, I got about 3 more slides, and we're gonna be done with this particular section. All right, so let me go ahead and finish this particular section, because I think we had an hour. And we're gonna come back tomorrow, and we're gonna give you 3, maybe 4 more tomorrow. We're gonna have to get you going. It's gonna get more. The story gonna get interesting once Inky and Enlil come into the picture. That's when Ninurtu and Nergal and Ishtar, when they start coming into the picture, and the Igigi on the Mars, when it's gonna get crazy. It's gonna get crazy. But back on this point that we were trying to talk about before we got 3 or 4 more slides to get out of here. Who is the first most high? The first most high name was Ki. That's 5 generations before Raziel, Anu. 5 generations before him, his name is Ki. Then the next, he had a son named An. And then he had a son named Anshaw, spelled with an E, the first. and then he had a son. Then he had a son. It was An. It was Key, An. Then An Key. Then he had a son named An, and then he had another son named Anshaw. That'll be then he had been a newborn. That's like 5 generations before Anu, right? And before the Big Bang took place, when Anu's grandfather, the Big Bang, the sun exploded when on the 4th most high, which was Sal. Sal will be the most high. He was called An Sal or An Gal. They call him Gal too. From one language. He would be the fourth one, and then after him it'll be Anshaw. Anshaw Gal will be the 4th one. Then 5th one will be Anshaw, which is Anu's father. Okay, so they end up having a competition where they went out to go find galaxies, and they went out to go find galaxies, and we was on the Zachariah Stitchin tells the part right here where Lelu killed Lamu. But his brain only goes so far, and shout out Zachariah Stitchin, he really did a good job on all the information that he gave us from his perspective, but he don't got melanin, so he can't go to the 4th dimension like we can, like Baba could, right? When he put the holy tallies out, that's why it's more in depth, more information. But Zachariah Stitchin only got 1 parts of it. He told it, he got like 12 different books. We got all of them. And he told it in pieces on different perspectives that he had. And we shout out Zachariah Stitchin. Zachariah snitching is what they really were saying. Zachariah snitching, because he was telling on these Anunnakis. We're about to get into that, bro. Zachariah snitching, right? Think on that, man. Think over that. But they end up coming back, and all this whole story gonna make sense once I get to the end of the whole story. It's gonna be about 9-10 tapes. But once we get to the end, all of it's gonna make sense to you. So Zachariah Stitchin tells the story that when they made it back, that Alelu pushed Lamu off the balcony, and he fell to his death. And then he made it look like it was an accident. That's the way Zachariah Stitchin tells it. But these people don't die. So he didn't understand that part, that these people can make clones and they don't die. And they ain't had a storyline go. Zachariah Stitchin is the only one that told that storyline like that. But several others tell the story as in Alelu sabotaged his ships. Sabotaged his people's ships. So they got stuck in the Black Eye Galaxy for billions and billions of years. Even after he didn't come back till late in the picture till later on, when he made it back to the Milky Way galaxy. So the overall percentage of the story goes Alelu sabotaged Lamo's ships, and he was supposed to come back and tell him that he found the Black Eye Galaxy, and Lelu had found the Whirlpool Galaxy, and Anu had found the Milky Way, and it really was a competition. Now, when they made it back, Lamu didn't make it back. So being that Alelu was vice president to Lamu, who was the most high, the 8th most high, Alelu became the de facto vice president because he was the vice president, and the Lamu never returned back to the Pegasus Galaxy, and for a while. So for a short amount of time, Alelu became the de facto 8th Anu, right? Until a certain amount of time passed by where the judges came back with the verdict, and they said that Anu had won the judgment. Alelu got mad and said that he wanted to challenge Anu to a battle. And they end up battling each other. This way, way before they designed Neptune. This way before the last battle where Alelu got sentenced to death, but he didn't die. He ended up getting another avatar, the Ashtar Command avatar. We're gonna talk about that too. So the story goes that he sabotaged Lamu's ships and he never made it back. Right? Check this out. Okay, so him and Anu, they ended up having a battle. And it was like a knockdown, drag out. Boom, bow, bing, boom, bow. It was a rumble in the jungle, right? Like Ali versus Frazier. I mean, Ali versus George. It was boom, bow, bang, boom, bow, right? Well, then, in the end, Anu reigned victorious, and he won, and he ascended to the throne and took over, became the ninth most high. This when Anu became the ninth most high, right? They had made upgrades to these Nimbare ships and started adding different technology. It actually didn't look like this before they left the Pegasus. It actually didn't look like this till way later on, until probably until it was about 45 billion years after they was in the Milky Way galaxy. So they left the Pegasus. They all loaded up on the Nimbares and they came to the Milky Way galaxy. This is the journey, the family journey. What's this? Anu ascended to the main, because they had several different fleets of these ships. It was more than one. There was a whole bunch of them, right? 2,000, 3,000 of them. But the main one that controlled all of them was called the throne. And that whoever controlled that became the most high, right? So Anu got the staff and became the ninth most high. We made the family journey on the way to the Milky Way galaxy. This is what Nibiru be looking like when it's traveling at light speed. It looked like a cloud with a red dot. They called it at one point Hellbach, right? Said it was a comet. We landed in the Milky Way galaxy. This is the Milky Way galaxy right here after we left Pegasus. And keep in mind, all the species that we had created was on Nibiru with us. Some of those species came on her with us. And we had stored the DNA, they seeds, on a ship that Mother Huber had designed called Atlantis. They later on became known as the Atlantis once Tahuti and them redesigned it. Nengazita and them. All right, when we came here, the first place we landed was the Centaurian star system on the outskirts of the galaxy. We landed on a planet that was formed. We took reside on a planet and started orbiting that planet within our Nimbares and Nibiru, and we started taking reside on that planet. We lived there for a while before we made our way to this solar system. Right, this is your galaxy split up into 4 parts, and they break it down as in the alpha, beta, delta, and gamma. So like I said, the 0 point. Remember the 0 point? Remember the cell and the nucleus and all that. This is the nucleus right here, the 0 point. And then from the expand out, your galaxy is spiraling, expanding out, just like a cell and all that. We broke that down on part 1 on the Big Bang. So they divided your galaxy up like that. So you got 4 different parts. Right, here's another picture right here of how they divided it up from the 0 point. 0 point is right here. You go this way is -1. You go up 1, that's -1, +1. If you go over here, it's +1. You go up 1, it's -1. You're supposed to learn this at school, right? It's -1. I mean +1, +1. If you go down, it's -1 at the first notch. It's +1, -1. If you go up 2 notches, it's +1, -2. I mean +1, +2. Right, so this is how they fit the galaxy up right here. Right now, Earth is right here in the galaxy. Out of the Milky Way galaxy, Earth is right here on the outskirts, because when they came here, they landed in the outskirts first. Right, they didn't start at the center. They came in and they landed on the outskirts. But around here, where the Centaurian star system at, then they made their way to here where Earth is. They didn't land on Earth. The first Anunnaki to land on Earth is Alelu. We're gonna break that down too. Alelu ended up coming here way later. After Alelu came here way later, before the crash, a little bit before the crash. But they was already living in this solar system. They just never land on Tiamat, because it was only four big huge planets in this solar system when they got here from Beecher. These were the 4 planets that was in this solar system when they got there. There's 4 huge planets. You had Jupiter, Saturn, Meldick, and Tiamat, which was called Tiamat, a Tijuana, a Tiahuac. I think that's how they pronounced it before. It was called Tiamat, but it was like about triple the size of what it is now. But these were the 4 planets right here, right when they came here. They took reside on Saturn, which became known, which they named after the 5th most high, they Anu's dad, Anshaw, and Jupiter, which they called Kishaw, which is they named after Anu's mother, right? And Meldeck was a planet that got destroyed. We're gonna get into that part too. But Meldeck was here too. And keep in mind, on these different planets, it was already microorganisms that were already living here and began to start to evolve. But this galaxy was a new galaxy. So most of the life form in this galaxy was still in its single cell amoeba state before the Anunnakis came to this galaxy. From the Big Bang, it's a lot of young galaxies that's still developing, and a lot of the organisms that come from the microcosmic that's developing in those galaxies are still in the first stages of its development. Yeah, man, we taking you back, man. I'm a son of Malachi, man. I'm a son of we descendants of Inky, man. We breaking it down for you, bro, so you can see what's happening here. A lot of people brains can't get it, but all this pretty much is I'm giving you a synopsis of the Holy Tablets. Pretty much the Holy Tablets, the whole series that Zechariah's teaching, the 12th planet, the Lost Books of Inky. I got the Inanna 2, 3 down there, books on Inanna. Inanna, boy, once you get into Inanna, you start to figure out, oh shit, Inanna was doing some whole bunch of stuff. But Inanna is the great-granddaughter of Hala. The great-granddaughter of Hala from her grandmother's side. We're gonna get into that too. And Nanar is kin to Hala. Nanar is Hala's what would be his grandson. Nanar is Hala's grandson, and Baal is Hala's grandson, Enlil's son, right? We're gonna break all that down. You're gonna see why they got the willow, how they get the Willow's Peak from Hala's side, from their grandma named Sud. We're gonna show you from their mama named Sud. So they took reside on Saturn. This is Saturn. And when they took reside on it, it didn't have the rings on it. The rings came about through the planet getting attacked by the reptilians and blowing up these different mobile homes that were really they said they were moons, but they really were planets like mobile homes that they were designing. Okay, here we go. Here we go. I can show you. So Saturn's got right now got 72 moons. These moons actually were planets that we were designing for people to live on, and we was taking them off into the galaxy and making artificial suns and rotating the planets around them. And beings were actually buying these planets just like mobile homes. And Saturn was the home base that we set up to start manufacturing these for the different families that were coming out of us. And so they started setting up permanent homes in this galaxy, because this galaxy, the life form was still in its first state. Right, so they got 72 moons. So these moons were like homes, mobile homes we were building for people. And they could be towed off into a certain part of the galaxy and be set up to where they can start living. And we can actually design them to your specimens. You want grass, you want terraform, water, certain whatever you want it, we'll order it and put it all together for you and tow it to where you want it. We actually would tow the planet there first, then start designing it. Once we got it there set up, we'll set everything up, the plumbing and everything. You know what I'm saying? These are the Anunnakis, right? And so then they have it towed to where you want it using a ship. They hook onto it. Alex Collier already told you about how they was towing the planets, and we could tow suns too, but towing suns is against galactic law. Only certain high-ranking beings can move a sun. Towing a sun is really against galactic law. because you can call it star holocaust where things fall into place. So they said that actually that's they said that as on the law books that you can't move a sun. You really can't move a planet neither without the right paperwork, permits, and things. These are some of the ships that they were using to tow the planets. They look like this, like the tow trucks. These like once it's a particular species where they got a tow truck. The actually being there were the actually beings that control these were the Terus. They were towing, getting paid to tow planets. The cone heads, the truck drivers. I mean, like tow truck drivers and cab drivers in the galaxy. So a lot of them, they are like Uber drivers, where you call for an Uber on another planet, they come pick you up, and then if they take you to another planet. Then you got bounty hunters who are hunting criminals, galactic criminals. You got different types of professions in the galaxy, right? Man, we hope this ain't, hey, a lot of people don't think this is funny, but it's actually really going on. As it is above, so is it below. I'm telling you, man. All right, we almost done, okay? That's another look at the ship. So you order your planet. We design it for you. Put the terraform on it. We learned how to terraform planets when we was in Detra. When we first back billions of years ago, trillions of years ago, we learned how to terraform planets. Some of the Nimbares, yeah, that's what I forgot to explain. At a certain point, after we got to the Ida galaxy, we the ships. These ships actually came out of the microcosmic with us, and they were also two living organisms. The mothership Nubaru is a living organism. It's alive. It's breathing. It's thinking. It's connected to the pilot thoughts through a watch. Where they sit in this big chair called the interface chair in the pilot room and control Nubaru like a ship. It's really a mothership. And the Earth is a living organism. Earth is alive. She's living in it. She's breathing. She has a blood. She has the breath. Earth is alive. It's a living organism. Trees alive. They are living organisms. So we can design planets and terraform them. We was doing that and selling them. Right? Some of the stars were they form from natural events from these gases colliding and exploding. So some suns form from natural occurrence, and some suns form from artificial, like your sun. Well, your sun actually came from not an artificial sun. Your sun is actually from a explosion that took place, another explosion, because once one chain reaction happens, several other explosions is taking place at the same time and expanding and creating universes within universes. So you have cycles of your sun right here and how they create it, right? The first phase is the hot white burning, then as it cools off, it turns blue. As it keeps cooling off, it goes into a yellow phase. As it cools off some more, it turns into a red phase. The three primary colors, red, yellow, and blue, are the three phases of the sun, and the three primary colors on this side of the mirror once you're dealing with light. And from those colors, and the neutral color being black, from those four colors generate all colors, is what they say, right? I got the life cycles of the stars. We show you that too. How this cycle continues, a continual chain reaction, a continual explosion. Once a sun burns out, boom, it explodes, turns into a supernova, creates a whole nother reality, a whole nother universe, a black hole. Right? Some suns are artificial suns are neutralized. That's only a sun only explode to become a black supernova if it becomes unstable. Interstellar cores. We're going all this on and keep in mind the same thing about the atom, where the protons and neutrons, these suns are the same thing. The magnetic force field around your planet is all dealing with that, right? Let's see what else we got. We're at an hour. Mitochondrial DNA. Yeah, mitochondrial DNA comes from the microcosmics, right? This is the genetic code. This is the genetical code that we came from the microcosmic. One of the cells, the single cell amoebas. If you look at this mitochondrial DNA, it's like a computer chip. Look at it, it's like a computer chip, and that's really what it is. It's the new type of development that stores memory. A crystal, it's a high-level crystal that exists in the state between really in the gas state, the liquid state, where you can't see, you gotta have a microscope to see this, but it looks like a computer chip right here. Hold on, let's show you that. Okay, like I say, from these single cells, that's it's like 7 million of these inside of one shot, right? That's coming from the microcosmic to get in here. And each of these, inside of these things, we gotta say, we can't say what it is because they flag us if we say the wrong key words. So I gotta describe it. You see what it is. Inside of these right here, the heads, these mitochondrial DNAs are on a smaller microcosmic level inside of these cells, these S cells, right? So y'all come from the microcosmic, 7 million in one in one count on that one, racing to get to this egg. One usually make it in and break through the membrane, the cell. This is like a cell. The egg is like a cell. They get in, sometimes 2, 3 may get in. They start developing. But it's 77,777,777 beings. It's like we rounded out to 8 million, close to almost 8 million beings trying to get in from the microcosmic to come to this side of the mirror. And this is the mirror world right here. When they go in here, they cross to this side of the mirror when they get inside of this egg. Don't it look like a mirror? Don't it look like a mirror? Don't it look like a gate, a stargate? This is the stargate that 15 been telling y'all about, that he was telling y'all about. This stargate, where you come in from the microcosm and the mother, this is the mother's egg, the oval. This is the stargate. She controls this. Boom, you come in through that stargate, boom, you come onto this side of the mirror and begin to take physical form. Man, we hope this ain't going over your head. Y'all should be able to grasp this type of stuff right now. See, okay, this is what it looked like right here. The cells with the tail on it. This actually is the brain, right? The brain of you that develops after you come onto this side, you develop a brain first, and then you begin to develop the rest of your body over a 9-month period. If you look at this mitochondrial DNA, you'll see a map here, like a computer chip, just like this computer chip right here, right? So this right here like a computer chip. Mitochondrial DNA is like a computer chip of memory of your history, all keep being stored from bloodline to generation, passed down from the mother. Got to make sure I point that out. Somebody probably said, hey, make sure you point that out that it comes from the mother. Yeah, it comes from the mother, right? There's this DNA. The woman passes it on. The man can pass it on too, though, but it's from the Y side of the chromosome. I mean, the X side of the chromosome, the X. It's from the X. Because the man decides the gender of the child. The man either gives a Y or X to produce a girl. If the man gives a woman an X, it comes out as a girl. If he gives the woman a Y, it comes out as a male. But this is a computer chip. The fingerprint is just like these lines on a computer chip. It's the data, the memory that's being stored, your life patterns. That's why people can read palms, because your palm can tell your history and your story, and it can actually running ahead of you and telling your future because it's doing a calculation. Even the brain starts out as a clean slate, but as you begin to develop memory, different squiggly lines come on, just like the memory chip, right? Just like the memory chip. Right, what else we got before we get up out of here on this one? Okay, you see the brain right there? You got a file in your brain. You see that right there, right? Memory is how you get out of here. Okay. Also, when we came to this galaxy, the insects they developed billions of years over time, and the Pegans, some of them left and went to the Andromedans. Some of them followed us here to the Milky Way galaxy. And there were different types. Some of them were huge, big creatures, man. Like this is one of the insect type creatures. They were huge, building height. Like this one they show you in the Man in Black. This bug, this is one of the bug races, the insect race. They were disagreeable. The roaches, they disagreeable. You know what I'm saying? This is just some pictures of what they kind of look like, the different insect types. Right? So some of these beings was brought aboard Nibiru and became part of the Gigi, the helpers, the observers. So it's big, huge fly beings and different types of insect beings. There's big beings, intelligent, that work on Nibiru. Okay? So there's just different pictures of what they look like. Right there. Okay? Hey, Hakeem! Yeah, so it's like what pictures of what they look like. Some of them live here underground in the center of the earth in cave systems and things. Billy Woodard talk about seeing these beings, seeing different types of insect beings, right? Because they came here with the Teru, the Nako and all them. They part of the Gigis. They'd have to fall in the Gigis, but some of these beings did. Like 1/3 of them, the insect beings joined on with Halo and them, and became part of the fallen, the ones that got kicked out to the underworld. So some of them down there are disagreeable, that's trapped, and some of them down there are agreeable. So you got different species over the period of time that evoluted, right? That's what they look like to human. Some of them started to evolve to more humanoid looking, to where some of them now even you can't. They look some of these beings are y'all here that look human now through evoluting. So some of y'all started out as insect creatures. Some of y'all have the spirits of insects, and you wonder why you ain't scared of spiders, why you ain't scared of these insects like everybody else, why you so attracted to ants and all of this, because you started out as a spirit, as a spiritual being. Your first avatar of a manifestation, as you got slung on this side of the mirror, your first manifestation was ant beings or these insect beings. Right? Okay, and that concludes. I'll talk about the DNA. Okay, and that concludes this part of the section. Like I say, it's really short. They say 4 billion years. The Andromedans is get ready to connect with the Milky Way. They say about 4 billion years we'll be completely connected. So that's happening right now. We've been talking about this for years. But that's we're gonna close out on that, man. But I want to take a couple questions before I get out of here. If you get so, the ants is one of my spiritual animals. That's what I'm saying. Look, so you might have evolved over time, because a lot of people came here as animal spirits or insect spirits or plant spirits, and over time they evolved into a humanoid body, because that's what we are here. This is a school for us. A lot of the different creatures, spiritual animals or spirit beings that start out as another species to evolve into a humanoid species and be educated on this planet to feel the different frequencies on this planet, like pain. And we part of a school, right? So we're gonna be coming back with part 3. Like I said, it's gonna be about 10, maybe about 10 series to this tape. But I can't wait to I think the next part we're gonna start to get into. I can't wait to get into the part where Enlil and Inky them born. Man, it's gonna get real there. It's gonna get real then when Inky and Enlil them born. Right? It says brother movie District 9. Yeah, I think I seen that movie too, District 9. Right? Really, that's that movie there. If you go study about Inky, that was kind of like the land of Nod, where Inky invited all these different creatures from other parts of the universe and the galaxy to come to the land of Nod to party and get drunk and do drugs and have all kinds of different intercourse is the word we got to use. But like I said, we kept this tape clean, YouTube, so there shouldn't be no problems with this tape neither. So we'll be back tomorrow with another part to this, man. If you want to show us some love, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. We'll be doing part 3. Maybe we're probably gonna try to run 3 of them tomorrow so we can get down. I really want to get down to the fun part. The fun part is when all the people start be born on Earth, when Inky them started, when Inky been born. So that's when the story really gets into it, like it really goes into depth right then when Inky them come into the picture. And Enlil, and how funny Enlil is, and how funny Inky is, and Anu got a sense of humor. Man, I tell you, you'd be surprised of how these people act just like us and how they think. They're just way more intelligent. And they've been living a longer time because on their planet, one day, on Nubaru, one day is 30 days. 1 month is 300 days. They got 12 months just like we do, but 1 month is 300 days. And then a year is 3,600 years, 3,600 years of Earth time is 1 year to them. They call it a shore. But before that, they had a longer time frame, which was 25,920 years, I think, what they call an AM. So that 1 year was 25,000 and some Earth years, almost 26,000 Earth years for them before the crash happened and changed their orbit. But we'll get into that on the next part. That's gonna get ready to come up in the next parts. So we better get up out of here, man. If you want to show some love, hit that like button. Go back and check out that other first part that we just put out before this one tonight, right? Part 1, the Big Bang. Everybody been asking about that Big Bang. If you want to you want to get those 8 books by the Young Elder, Cash App us $45 to the PayPal or Cash App, and leave your emails in the link. We'll send you all 8 books by the Young Elder. Be sure to hit that like, hit that subscribe button, hit the bell. Right, you should be starting to receive something from us every day for the rest of the month because we took the time out to put all this together so we can make this part clear, and then we're gonna finish all the tapes that we're supposed to be finishing, like the last names and all that. We had to get a time for the heat to cool down because they blocked us for 7 days because of the Jennifer Daniels turpentine tape. So we had to do that, man. So we about to get up out of here, man. If you want to show us some love on the Cash App, just if you don't want to get the books, you want to send us like a $5 donation or something for this class, that $1, whatever you got. We put the Cash App in the links for that. So peace and love, man. High vibrations. Free Malachi Z. York, free Larry Hoover, right? Free Rashard Jamal, right? RIP to Dr. Ben, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Shout out Farrakhan, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan. Shout out 19 Keys. Shout out Black Magic. Shout out Red Pill and Blue Pill. Right? Shout out my brother Type 8 Rod Hayes, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my brother D Bell, my little brother D Bell that's putting in the work. Shout out Akmos, the Most High, one of Malachi's sons. Shout out my brother Lifewave, right? Shout out Sun Ra. Right before I get up out of here, I just wanted to make them couple shout outs, man. Shout out to 12th Elder, shout out to 15th Elder, right? Shout out to 21st Elder, right? Shout out to all the elders. Shout out to first Elder Catriel. Shout out to second Elder Anafiel. Shout out to third Elder Bodie. But to get up out of here, man. Islam, peace, shalom, right? Divine love. A shug throughout the boundless universe to all. We'll be back tomorrow. Tomorrow it's gonna get crazy. Yo, we're gonna hit you with a couple tomorrow. We might come on like early in the morning while Hakeem sleep and drop the part 3. So we're gonna get up out of here, man. We're gonna call it a night, and we'll come back tomorrow. We'll put a roll them non-stop, like 10, like maybe more than 10. Depends on how long I talk on each one. It may be more than 10 episodes of this. But once I finish all the episodes, the whole storyline gonna make sense to you. The Bible, everything gonna make sense. Like the people of the Bible, actually, you know what I'm saying, we're gonna break that down too. Like because some of those children, like Noah, is Inky's son. Adaphah, Enoch is Inky's son. Yes, Inky's son. So the descendants of Noah is descendants of Inky. That's why he saved Noah. We better point all that out. Okay. Hey, so yeah, she was part of the good See, it was two groups. The Igigis, the 200 Igigis, it was a different group. We're gonna break that. We're gonna get to her. We're gonna get to her. She was one part of the good group that came here to fight against these bad Igigis or these 200 fallen niggas. That came. Because it was a part of some good, it was a part of some good Hindus. They were freaks too, but they were good beings, benevolence, and they came, some of them came to fight on behalf to help the Anunnakis fight against these beings. We're gonna get into that. So she was part of that group with Silver and his wife. They were part of that group, the good group of these Hindus. So we're gonna get into that. But we about to get up out of here, man. Peace and love. We'll be back tomorrow, man, at sometime probably in the morning. And then we're gonna run a couple of minutes we can tomorrow. And then the next day we run minutes we can every day. We'll try to get you minutes we can. So peace, love, have a good shadow hour. We shall return. What do?